Get down. Let me clear my throat. Yeah. Oh, that's better. That's better. Somebody pass around the offering. Since I'm always preaching on tracks, you feel me? I might as well get paid for it. Sermon of the day. You right where you supposed to be, baby. Informant, that information for me. Important you get a portion of fortune pouring. Confession, fortunately, blessings on now they snoring. You mellow, so focused on scoring. Got your underperforming. I never expect something, never assume nothing. Judging me for my past, but that's why I'm triumphant. I don't demand, I know where I stand like engineer hands. Watch how my life pans. That game plan, show out like a jotter, pop out like a cutter. Telling the kick rock, skipping the country squares like hopscotch. This gonna be my mood to my beat drop. Putting my boogie shoes in my diddy boots, ain't no stop. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration. I know I don't whip out a need of a validation. No congratulations on no celebration. I know I don't whip out a need of a validation. Yeah. If having hope is dangerous, call me evil Knievel. You leading on the wrong side, living with pens and needles. So lethal, mean Shane Black wanna write a sequel. Cause I snuggle my dream till it's seen as illegal. And I still probably will, cause I can never give up. I got my goals calling me, how could I never pick up? Either we make up or just break up. And the snake hits, get the rake up. Yeah, selfish, I'ma cake up. If I don't shake me to wake up. Let my depression catapult me to succession. Shine a light on my imperfections like a projection. Every struggle a lesson, your issues ain't your oppression. Never got a question, keep pushing me to progression like I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. Gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live.
Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. I hope y'all don't mind. We're rocking out a little bit, just a little bit, right? It's Thursday. We done made it through the week. What is good? What's popping? How's everybody doing out here in Bravo land? What is good, good people? How was your week? I hope everyone is good and ready for tonight's conversation. All right. Well, let's get through the preliminary so that we can get to the main event. How's that? So again, happy Thursday. Please like, subscribe, share, hit that thumbs up button as you enter the room. Please, ma'am, please, sir. It is free 99 to you, but it means everything to us as it helps push our information out into these wonderful internet streets, and it helps with our algorithm, making sure that we are getting out there to the people. And we want to make sure that we are sharing and caring, because sharing is caring and we care. So we're going to share, right? All right. Appreciate you so very much. So as you know, and those who may not, I am your girl, Lady Dawn B. I'm your Thursday night host here on the Bravo with Sheila Network, the baddest network in these YouTube streets. Yep, I'm absolutely biased and honestly telling the truth. It is amazing to be here, a part of this Bravo Nation, and we thank you, the brave brothers, as Auntie Bravo calls them, and the Bravettes. We thank you all for being a part of our Bravo Nation family. So, as you know, every Thursday night we come on and have great conversation. Different topics. We just want to keep it real. We have real talk with real resolutions and just getting down to the bottom. Just some conversations. We're not here to convince nor to convict, but we are just here to have, again, real conversation with real resolutions, one with the other. That's all. None of us are experts. However, some of us are experts. We are experts in our experiences of life, and that's what we come to share. However, some of us actually are true, legitimate experts, licensed clinicians and counselors, and hold doctorates and PhDs, all that good stuff. So we are legit here. We got some real resources if you do need them. But on tonight in these conversations, we just come in as people. We drop in our titles, just bringing our life experiences just to chat with each other. Why? Because we want to have good conversations that help us grow, conversations that we can glean off of, conversations that help us to understand so that we can connect better, right? Connecting better with each other by first connecting the best with ourselves. Because when we are better as who we are, we show up better in our spaces and we show up better with and for each other. So before I greet the people in the comment section, because I see you, I see y'all, I'm glad you're here on tonight. Just want to give a few little house rules. As always, the number one rule here on the Bravo with Sheila Network is respect. We appreciate and we welcome everyone's thoughts, feelings, opinions, whatever your moral compass is. Again, we're not here to argue nor to debate, although sometimes we do have passionate conversations on the panel. We do want to always express ourselves respectfully, and we always want to honor what someone else has stated respectfully. So, on the first sign of disrespect, unfortunately, we will have to remove you from this space because we are just that serious about the integrity of our channel and of our conversations. So we just ask you, be kind, be gentle. We can agree to disagree, and everyone is an expert at their own life. So we appreciate you all for keeping that in mind as we converse throughout the night. Okay, that's the number one rule. I also want to let you know by way of announcements. Now, we do accept everyone's thoughts, feelings, and opinions, no matter what they are. Whatever your moral compass is, we receive it. Now, I am a God's girl, so as always, I say you're going to get a little Jesus when you get me, okay? So that's what I go by. That's what I use. That's my inner core. So that's how we work it. But whatever yours is, we accept it. We love it. We are here to glean and learn from it and learn from one another. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we go along. We do want to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you would not mind. We are so close to our 1,000, hitting 1,000 marker of subscribers. So please, ma'am, please, sir, help us reach our goal. Just by hit that subscribe, hit that notification. It costs nothing. Free 99 is the best price ever, I promise you. But it means everything to us, and it helps us grow and get more information out there. So we look forward to that. Now, I do want to tell you, now when you subscribe, you will get notifications because we got a lot going on over here on the Bravo side of the street. Every Thursday night, you get me, your girl, Lady Dawn B, and the Thursday Night Squad. But on Monday nights, somebody say Monday night, turn to your neighbor. That's how we do in the church. Well, turn to your neighbor, tell them Monday nights, tap them on the shoulder. Monday nights, we have the amazing Monday Beyond the Mic, which is Dr. Elaine and Coach Pache. Now, for those of you who were watching on Monday, as you know, there's been some shifting and changing, but it's all good. It's all great. Coach Pache is exiting out of that space, and so Mondays Beyond the Mic will be taking a bit of a turn. We're doing some upgrades, some different things. She's not leaving on no bad terms, just so we understand everything is good. She's going on to do something great and amazing, and her time is required. So you will still see her. I'm sure she'll pop in when she has time, but Mondays Beyond the Mic is still going on with Dr. Elaine. And guess what? Your girl, me, sometimes I'll be over there co-hosting. So make sure you go over there. In addition, all right, that's Monday nights at 7 p.m. We're going to have a whole host of people coming on. We're just going on and we're supporting Dr. E because that's what we do here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. We are one nation. We are one family. Although we are not one voice, one sound, we stick together unified. So you don't want to miss anything that goes on at any night over there or over here, okay? So that is that. But if you are in need of some spiritual enlightenment, encouragement, or some strength, you can go right across the street. That's right. I'm using both my fingers in both directions, whichever way you want to go. It's going to get you to the same place. Go right across the street to the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network. Over there, you will find, and I'm going to start with tomorrow. On Fridays, you will find this amazing trio, the Women of Grace, none other than the curator of this amazing space, my Auntie Bravo, who yields me, we give her a bravo. She yields me this captain's chair every Thursday night so I can spend time with you. But if you go over there to the Sheila Ingram Ministries Network, I promise you, you're going to get a good word. You're going to get a good song. You're going to get a good prayer. You're going to get some good meditation. And something will be said. Something will be done that is going to uplift you and encourage you and inspire you. So on tomorrow at 11, you have the Women of Grace, again, who is led by my Auntie Bravo. Also part of that team is my mom. That's right. My mama, Pastor Rosa. You all know who she is. She comes on Tuesday nights. I'm sorry, Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. But you can also catch her on Fridays at 11 a.m. with this amazing trio. And you also will catch, I call her my auntie gangster because we just roll like that. Reverend Jenny. So the three of them are over there doing some amazing things. So I'm going to ask you to also go across the street. Like, subscribe that channel also. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss anything that's going on either side of the street. We here for you. We got your natural and your spiritual. We just got it all. So don't worry about it. You're good. All right. So I believe that's all of the announcements on today. Thus far, I do want to greet the people. I see the galley is filling up, and I'm appreciative of that. Let's see who we got in the house. And as always, we're going to start with who the greatest moderator to ever do it in these YouTube streets. None other than my girl, our girl. You know her. You love her. She is the infamous, most amazing lady Ine Kenya is in the building on tonight. Hey sis, thank you for joining. As always, she holds it down in this comment section. She makes sure everyone is greeted and welcome. And just so you know, again, if the disrespect button gets hit, she has the button to eject, and we have no problem using it. But we know we good over here, right? Okay, awesome. So we good. So we don't want her to have to use that button. But we appreciate you being here, and Nate, and being the greatest moderator that we could ever ask for. We appreciate you. And then we also have my sis in the building. The beautiful Marilyn is in the house. Hi, sis. Thank you for coming. As always, one of these days I'm going to get her up here on this side. Don't tell her I told y'all that. Don't tell her I told y'all that, okay? But I appreciate you, sis. I love you, and thank you for your support. Being here and lending your comments to this comment section, because it is so important and I love it. All right. And who else we got in the building? Let's see. We got none other than, my other girl, Disciple Spencer's in the building. What's good? What's poppin', sis? It's good to see you. Glad that you made it. Glad that you are here on tonight, and glad that you are in the building with us. And you know, everyone doesn't come down to say hello, but those of you who are in the expensive seats in the silent section, we want to greet you as well and say good evening. Blessings to you. How are you? How was your day? How are you feeling? As you can see, I'm in a good mood. Just want to bless everybody today. We hope you're doing all right up there. We know you paid a lot of money for those seats, but we invite you to come on down to the comment section. Don't just sit up there by yourselves. Come on down to the side, to the comment section. I promise you it's safe. We have security down here. Pop in, say hello, let us know you're there. We just want to greet you, and we want to hear from you, and we want to honor you. But we thank you for being here on tonight. So let's see, as we prepare and make sure that I've given all of our announcements, which I believe that we have. And so it is time for us to get into this good old conversation that we are looking forward to having on tonight. Now, as you know, the month of March is Women's History Month. And so with that, we want to move a little differently with Women's History Month. Let's see what we got happening here. She said, yes, come on down. Right, come on. Tell them, disciple, come on down. It's safe. I promise you. No one's going to hurt you down here. We want to hear from you. We want to cheer you and big you up and give you a welcome. You think J Hud got a welcome tunnel going on the Bible with Sheila, that where we going to give you a whole song and dance too. I promise you. If you come on, just come on down and say hi. Meet us down here in the comment section. I promise it'll be good. So, on tonight, as we continue with Women's History Month, we are so glad to be able to celebrate one another. And so we wanted to continue the month and get into this conversation about a woman's worth. Now, we all know that through the history of times and through times, women, the value of women, the value that was placed on women was not always fair. It was not always equal. Women at some points were depicted as property, not necessarily human beings. We were thought to be good for the kitchen, just to cook, clean, and have babies and maintain the home. But we want to add a little bit, we want to open up that conversation because times definitely have changed from then till now. And women, we have evolved. We have been given rights. We fought for rights. We are expressing our rights. Our voices are being heard everywhere. And we are doing amazing things. And what I do want to say before I bring up a part of our panel on tonight so far about this is that women, we have the right and the energy. You have the strength to be anything that you want to be. For me, I am in a season of all or nothing, and nothing is not an option. So I plan on doing every single thing that comes to my mind, everything that I'm equipped and capable of doing. I may not know when, but I may not know how, but I'm gonna work it out. I don't know how, but I know I can. So I want to encourage us as women to make sure that we are really tapping into being all that we can be, and we are moving to do so. All right. Y'all bear with me. I know I'm buffering. I'm up in these mountains and they're not being so nice. So don't worry. We work through it as always. Pray for your patience. So on tonight, again, we're talking about a woman's worth. And I have some people in the building that are going to help navigate and be worked through this conversation. So the first person I'm going to bring up to this platform, okay? Y'all know her. Y'all love her. It's been a minute since you've seen her. She is part of the ladies' room squad. And beyond that, she is my sis given to me in the spirit. And she holds me down, okay? When I say that, I mean that. And I love her up. Everything that is she, I love. So I'm gonna bring her up. You know her. She is a firecracker, and she is none other than the lady Risha Epps. Welcome back to the
Hello.
Bravo station.
Hey, I
Hey,
have missed
sis.
you, sis. I've missed you guys. Oh my God. It is amazing to be back on this wonderful stage with you glorious people. I'm excited. I'm
Yes,
excited.
me too. I'm glad and grateful you are here. Now, again, we do have some more people who will be popping in and coming through, so don't be surprised as people are popping up and coming to this platform, y'all. But y'all know how we do. I do have some surprise guests that will be coming up in a bit, but we want to get this good conversation started on tonight. So when we're talking about a woman's worth, we know that our worth, our value, it has changed. There's a difference between worth and value. Um, so I want to start and open up just by letting you share a little bit about what do you think? What did you think of when you heard the topic of women's worth?
I immediately, first of all, I had to assess myself. I had to check me. Um, because oftentimes when I sat and thought about it, we determine our worth based on the outer realm of where we are. Um, the world, what other people say, and but your worth is what you feel about you, what you bring to the space. Whether somebody receives it or not, you have to be confident and what you have and what you bring. And so I had to check myself to make sure or to see if I was as confident in myself in my quiet space as I portray to be. Um, if I'm comfortable in that. And a lot of times what I've realized is the world has put so many um what's the word I'm looking for? So many weights upon what we as women can or cannot do. And we start trying to measure to those standards, reach those bars. But maybe that's not your bar to reach. Maybe that's not your purpose. That's not why you exist. It could be the reason why somebody else exists, but that's not your thing. Gone are the days where we are like Lady Dawn said, you know, the kitchen and in the bedroom. Everybody can't cook, and it's okay. But what I do
Mhm.
know is everybody eats. So
Okay.
yeah, it's not about, at the end of the day, the purpose of cooking the food is for nourishment. It does
Yeah.
not matter if you can or can't, as long as you are nourished. Are you nourishing yourself? Because then that is where your value comes from. What you do for you, what you need to do to make sure you sustain, putting the oxygen mask on yourself so you can't save anybody, help anybody, bring anything to the table if you are deprived. So it's not about what you can't do, it's about what you can do and highlighting those things.
All right. Well, there. How about that? I think this conversation, and thank you for that share. You said so many wonderful things, and I think that a lot of times I was sharing with Big Brother earlier that a lot of times we use these words, and we become desensitized to what they really mean. When we think of value and when we think of worth, you know, um, in times back when in slavery times, we were deemed our worth by our skin color, in a sense. They would put the lighter skinned African Americans in the house and the darker ones in the field. They were basing worth on an appearance. They were basing worth not knowing anything about the capabilities or any of that, but just complete outer exterior. And some of that has trickled down into our culture and into our time, and that mentality still exist. It may not be as prevalent, but it still exists. And we as women this month have to really take the time, I believe, to self-assess, like you said, and realize what your worth really is. And it's not based on, or it should not be based on, just your outer appearance. Ladies in the chat, come on and add something to this. Let us know what you think your worth is. What defines your worth, or what defines your value? I do have a question that I want to kind of start with. Um, let's
Can
see.
I just kind of jump in right here when when we're
Yeah,
talking about
come
value
on.
and worth? Let's be very clear that because somebody does not value you does not mean you're not worth it. You're not worthy. You don't have worth. A lot of times it's kind of like, now you have pennies that exist, copper 1 cent pennies that are worth $200, $2,000, depending on the year on them. You could have that penny in
True.
your possession, but if you don't know the worth of it, you will assess the wrong value to it. We need to be mindful that we don't allow people who don't understand who we are, what we possess, what we have to bring, assess a value to us that is beneath our worth. They can assign a value to you that is beneath your worth. But you have to know what your worth is and stand on that. This is the season. I feel like, for me, I'm no longer asking, I'm demanding. And if you can't come up to the level of value that matches the worth that I possess, then we don't have to deal. It is definitely all or nothing. There's no
And
compromise
I
when it
agree.
comes to my worth.
There is none. But when we think of value and we think of work, and good evening. Oh, I see my guy in the house. What's poppin'? Von Eric's in the building. The Black Power Ranger. I call him Von, the Invisible Man, Eric, because you hear him, but you may never see him. But one day you go see him as well as hear him. What's good? He says blessings all. We might have to have him pop on too. Who knows? Let's see how the night goes. Um, but I want to, we were talking about value and worth. A lot of times we will let one person or one thing, one comment, convince us that we are not worth what we once believed we were. And in those moments, it's sad and it becomes insane. And I'm sorry, y'all, I'm just gonna say it like it is. It is sad that we get to a place where we seek acceptance outside of ourselves so much that one person's comment can convince us that we are not valuable or not full of as much worth as we once thought, because we've given that person's opinion much more weight than our own. Just because a person can't appreciate you where you are or for who you are does not mean that your value should change. It means that you are just in the wrong hands. When it comes to cars, if people if you're not well versed, in cars, if that's not your thing, you wouldn't know what the real worth and value of a Lamborghini is, or any of these high end, cars. I mean, I know I don't. I ain't gonna play like I do. I just don't, But I know that there's some classic, Rolls Royce. People are looking at them like they are old and no, that's a classic. But because we are not in that place or position to understand, or it is not our taste, we don't understand the value of a car like that. Why? Because we have not obtained the knowledge to understand what that type of car really is about. And it's the same thing with us as people. And then we are talking about women today, and it's not a man woman, it's not a battle, anything like that. But we want to talk about a woman's worth, because women, we need to understand that our worth is a whole lot, is based on so much more than our outer appearance or what others may think or feel. I want to read, and we're all looking to be accepted. Everybody wants to find their place. Everybody wants to. I don't care what nobody says. No man is an island, and we all want to find our place, right? We all want to belong. And we should, but we got to belong with people who know our worth and who are not going to diminish our value. So I want to read this comment. Disciple says, I'm in the process of learning what my worth is. I'm a God-fearing woman. I'm a giving person. I'm a resourceful person. I'm also funny. Right. You got to know who you are. And it's beautiful to be in the process of learning what you are worth. And I want to tell you, your worth changes as you keep adding value to who you are. Your worth changes, and it will continue to change the more that you grow. Our worth can also decrease. We don't really want to talk about that, because we are not adding value to ourselves. So ladies, we have to be very mindful, that we add the right kind of value to who we are, so that we don't just maintain our worth, but we increase our worth. Let's see. Vaughn said, hey, Risha F's, glad you're back in the house. Vaughn said he's happy to see you back. But yes, disciple, I love that. It is a forever evolving process that we go through. And while we were concentrating on women because it's Women's History Month, but this is for anyone. This is for people. This is for men. We got to add value. And when you start adding value to you and your worth starts going up, this is where we start shifting circles. This is where we start, because now you no longer fit into this bucket. Now you got to grow up and start fitting into another bucket. And we have to make sure that we are adding value to the things that we want. We want this husband or this wife that is top notch and, cream of the crop and owner of the company and, just top of the world. But when you want someone who has a lot of value, or rather a lot of worth, you got to make sure that you're coming in a way that you can add value to what they're worth and not take away from it. Because men these days, from what I've learned, there's a turnaround, ladies. They're not just looking for us to be a pretty face no more. They can Uber Eats for themselves. They can send their laundry out. They can hire somebody to clean the house. So they don't want just somebody with a pretty face with an empty head. They want someone who can add value to what they've already accumulated and what they've already earned. They want someone who can help grow and increase what they already have. We can't do that if we don't know our own worth, if we don't know our own value. Let's see. Disciple Spencer also says, yes, ma'am, I'm behind the glass, handling me with care. Yes, ma'am, every day. Every day. Listen, I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't like everything about me, but I love me every day. And every day I'm doing my best to try to improve on something for me that is going to add more value to what I'm already starting with. So I just want to read these definitions real quick, and then since you could jump right in. Value is the regard. This is the definition, just so we understand, is the regard that something is held to deserve. Its importance, its worth. Value refers to its worth, the worth or usefulness of something. So when we're talking about our value, it's the worth or usefulness of something. It's the regard that something is held to that it deserves. Where worth is referred to as sufficiently good, important, or high value or merit. So just so we understand, so what are we worth? What are we worth? You had a question? You want to make a statement before I ask this question, sis?
Oh yeah, I was when this whole when you started talking about cars, it just made me think about, you know, a lot of times, because we do measure ourselves to what the world standard is. And let me just say this: the standard is the bare minimum. And so, but we do measure ourselves to whatever the standard is, as if, let me say this, because this is the month after Black History Month, and the standard of the world was not necessarily made with us in mind. I mean, you know, black and brown, women, men, boy, the standard was not necessary. Let me not say necessarily, was not made with us in mind. When you think about something that's vintage, just the fact that it's old adds value. They cherish it. When Lady Dawn was talking about cars and even clothes, they call it vintage. You pay more. But when it comes to us, the older we get, the less useful worth we feel. And why is that? Because everything else in the world, the older it gets, the more value it has, or the more worth, the more value people place on it. And nothing about it has changed. Let's be clear. When you got an older car, it's harder to get parts. Parts are out of
Yeah.
they're not in production anymore. You're spending all this money. You know, it can't go as fast. It needs to start. All of these things where people will spend massive amounts of money to get these cars, these old cars, rebuild them, take care of them. But when it comes to human life, how we feel and what we value, the older we get, the less value the world has placed on us. And I mean us. We were already to them not as valuable, or not valuable at all, because I'm a firm believer when they're talking and when they come to the table and discuss things, we never come up. We just happen to be casualties of war of the conversations that are being had, but that's another thing. I'm not going to go down there. But
No, we don't go there.
yeah, we're not going to, but we have to, there's a lot of knowledge that comes with who we are, a lot of know. Worth is not just about what you can do, but it's also about what you know, your ability to navigate, your ability to speak to a thing and work through a thing because you've experienced it, you've lived it, you've seen it. And a lot of us, black and brown people, we have shared experiences. What we need to make sure in this season that we do not let the world's systems or the world's standards make us feel like we have depreciated in value because they don't see us.
True. And well, women, you know, we have come out from behind quite a bit. Disciple Spencer says, we are always counted out. And I believe that that's true. I believe that it has been, but for me, and I'm going to be honest, my first response to that was, we said we are always counted out. My first response was going to be, but depends on who's counting. You know, who is counting? And I get it, you know, and it's true because we do feel like outsiders in our own land, you know, or in this space, in the states, in the places where we live, you know. But women, we have busted out of boxes, you know, and our voices are now heard. Whereas one time we didn't even have the right to vote, we didn't have the right to speak up. You didn't feel like your opinion counted. It was not considered. You know, like, well, hush, women, because the men are talking, you know. And now it's women are holding the mic. We are doing, you know, great things. where we can't be silenced. She says, you are so right. And I think that's the difference for me. And it's just for me. We might be counted out, but again, it's a matter of, well, who's doing the counting? And if you never considered me to begin with, then how are you counting me out? Because I'm valuable where I matter. So if I didn't matter, that's in your group. There's one thing I was sharing with my mother earlier today. We're talking about statistics. And when we come with these polls and things, I'm like, the statistic is only as good as the area that it is taken in. You don't get a real view of things when we take these polls, unless you are counting everyone in the whole wide world. Until we get that poll and see what people really say, then we can say something is an absolute. But when we start polling and question a small group of people or any group of people, that statistic may be true, but it's true to that group. It's not relative for everyone. So if you never considered me, I was never in your count. So you have no say as to what my value is, because you've never experienced you can't say what my worth is, because you've never experienced me to know my value. I want to welcome to the platform tonight. You know her, you love her. She is the fire starter in this place. Dr. ND Brown is in the building. Hey sis, how are you?
Blessings, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Hey, Miss Rashida.
Hey, Dr. Indy, how are you?
I'm good and behaving myself. At least I'm trying to. And
We'll take the try.
Yeah, I'm trying not to beat up the two boys that are in my house right now, the senior and the junior. Yeah.
Don't beat them up.
Yeah. Help us, Black Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, we gonna distract you for a little bit. I'm gonna ask you this question. We gonna start with you, since you are here, and then we're gonna go to Risha. I got some special people waiting in the wings on tonight as the mother's coming. So because we want some little different perspectives. We just want to encourage y'all on tonight to understand what a woman's worth really is. And how much it has changed. And women, we have to change our mindsets. And I've said this before. Disciple Spencer says, hey, Doc. I've said this before. Some of us women have been taught, brought up, trained, coached, and mentored by a bunch of wounded women, by other wounded women. So sometimes we are carrying their scars with us before we have even had a chance to develop any scars of our own. So we have to be really careful of the mentalities that we're bringing along, and it speaks to the positive and the negative of our worth. Because some women may have been in different, non-positive situations. Von Eric says, hey, Dr. ND. Because some women have been in situations. Here we go. Some situations that have caused them to still have some residue. We have been the recipients of their wounds. And so we start out with an attitude like, I don't need a man for this. And I'm going to be, this type of woman. I don't need any help in this area. Some others feel like, well, you know what? A man is only going to pay attention to you for your body, for what you can give him in the bedroom. We teach to cook, clean, and have babies. That mentality still exists, and it may not be as dominant as it was in those days, in the past, but there's still a mentality that goes on. And we see it in how some of our young women are today, in how they present in the dating world, how they're relating in our communities, and it's not all, we never say all, it is some, but we have to be mindful of the worth, letting our young women, our young girls, as well as even us older women, we have to change our mindsets to understand that we are more than just what we do at home.
Come on.
Your worth is not based on how good dinner was tonight. Your worth is not based on whether you cleaned the house. Your worth is based on the content of who you are. And when we build ourselves up, and keep adding to ourselves, then we are adding value that cannot be denied at all. And for those women who don't know that, some women need to hear that. Some women already know it, but maybe you need to hear it again and be reinforced. Your value is based on what you add to your life. I'm sorry, your worth is based on what you add to your life. And that's what makes it valuable. That's what makes you valuable. That's what makes it precious. That's what makes you precious. So a woman's worth is far more than your body, than your physicalities, and those things. So, Dr. Angie, let me ask you this question. Well, I just kind of answered it, but I'm going to ask it because I want to hear you ladies' opinions, and y'all comment in the chat too. Who determines a person's value? Is it by the amount of acceptance that we have, or is it by how we know, or what we put in ourselves? Dr. ND is missing.
So, no, I'm here.
No.
I'm here. I'm about to fight a 3-year-old. I'm about to fight a whole. No, I'm sorry. About to fight a whole 4-year-old. Me and him about to tussle, and I'm gonna win because he got a broke arm. So I'm gonna win.
He's
So I
fighting at a
think that,
disadvantage.
yeah, because I'm gonna use my disadvantage because his arm is jacked up. That's why I'm gonna win the fight. That's why. You got to know where you can get in and fit in. So I think yeah, I think part of what you have said has been something that has. I think that is. I guess I might say be presumptuous in saying this, but I think that part of it is in our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of what we have seen culturally, and through the historic timeline, we tend to embody what we've seen, the struggles, the challenges, the trauma. We as educated and as evolved as we've come, we tend to have to go back and we see parts of us before we've even evolved, and then we get here and some people get stuck. They get stuck and think that this is it because of what they see. And then we get here and then we still see that we are fighting for a place. We're fighting for to be identified. We're fighting for our wealth. We're fighting for titles. We're fighting for positions. And then we're fighting against other entities. And then we're fighting against each other. And I think that part of it is that it's a decision that one has to make of how they desire to show up. I believe that we've become a culture because we are believers and everybody wants to have their name called. Because I think that there's an identity crisis happening, that everybody wants their name called, that they just think, well, if I can get my name called, I'll be okay. But I think that it is a public choice and it is a decision that one has to come to in regards to how they are identified. And I think that comes with some self evaluation, some self work, some self pruning, and then becoming that example and not keeping the secrets for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I think that it's multiple things that are taking place or need to take place in regards to how we show up. And the problem is sometimes we feel less than if we show up in a state that doesn't fit the scheme of what everybody else thinks that we need to fit the scheme in. And I think once you get past that and you show up in your authenticity without apologies or without feeling less than because you may not fit their scope, but you're comfortable, you now become a problem. So it all can be a combination of like, well, I want to fit in, but if I come as my true authentic self with some blemishes and some bangs ups and some scars, would I be accepted? But if I get healed and you don't see my scars, and I know what my truth is, I now have to now fight on a whole nother level. So I think we're at both ends of the spectrum. Which one is going to work for me? How do I show up? And we have to be, whomever that woman is, has to be okay with however she shows up, to be prepared to deal with what they're going to get from those who they are engaging with or they intend to engage with.
Well, that's good. Thank you. Thank you for that. So it sounds like, you're saying that the person who determines the value is ourselves. But oftentimes we don't show up fully and authentically because we are concerned about how we'll be received, being 100% who we are. And I believe that when we do that, and we have done that, a lot of us do that, we switch up. But it changes. I don't think it changes your actual value, because you're worth what you're worth. But you're doing a disservice to yourself and to those around you. And it's slightly deceptive because you're not showing people who you really are and what you really are made of. So I think we owe it to ourselves.
No, what you were saying, you was like that. So the statement that you made about value, the truth of the matter is, I think we do. And I said the reason I say that is because we put ourselves in a position of, we won't let our value show.
Right.
So our value is now opposed to it being a actual. So let's say when we go to buy a diamond, we get the price of the diamond based on the cut, the clarity, and the color, right? And so if we go and we buy a Zubik zirconian, or what is it? What's the Swarovski? The same cut. It's the same cut, but the clarity is going to be off, and so is the the cut will be right, the clarity will be off,
Clarity, and the color.
and the carat will be right. The carat size will be right, but the clarity will be off. In the eyes of someone who cannot identify that, I know that it's a real diamond, but if I decide that this particular day I'm going to put on the other diamond, subconsciously, though that people around me may not know that, I've already diminished my value by putting something on or showing up with something that doesn't signify, that identifies my value.
Right.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
so does that make sense what I just said? So
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do agree with you, but I think that when we don't show up in our authenticity and we downplay the schematics of who we are, we ourselves psychologically are diminishing our own value, which means that we're not going to walk in the same security and our posture, our poise, and how we present ourselves is going to be off.
Right.
So even though they may not see, they don't know our value, but they will never get to know it because what they're meeting is a lower value than what is actually coming to the table. So we at times are our own worst enemies because we won't show up in our authenticity. Yeah, you got an education. Yeah, you're smart. Yeah, you're intellectually inclined. Yes, you got a sense of humor. Yeah, you got a banging body. Yes, you got an 8-figure bank account. You got all of these things, but then you get around somebody who got more than you, that has more, that has maybe a big amount, and their presence might be a little overwhelming. You now think that because you may not have that your value is less, but your value is your value.
Right. Right. No, we're
Right.
saying the same thing. We're saying the very same thing. You know,
Okay.
we're saying the same thing. I just want to take a moment and pause because I see my queen in the building. My twin is in the house. Okay, let's go. I am excited. So for those of you, she's been here before. She is not brand new, but she's a little new, but that's all right. We breaking her in once again. She is awesome. She is amazing. I call her my twin, and I love everything that is she. You better believe it. So for those who don't know and those who do, I'm bringing to the stage the phenomenal Coach Nikki is in the building.
Hey,
Hi,
twin. What's up? Good to
I'm
see
so
you.
excited. Hi, beautiful. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. How are you? Hi, everybody.
I am well. I'm well. I'm excited to
Hello.
I'm doing well and good to see you. We just getting this conversation started about a woman's worth. I told y'all we got some good people popping up in here, y'all. Okay, y'all greet my sis, my twin coach Nikki up in here. I promise you she gonna bring some knowledge that's gonna get you right up in here in these streets. Okay, I'm gonna put on my glasses so I can act like y'all already know that y'all know what it
I
is.
should have grabbed mine too because I'm trying to see.
Disciple Spencer says there are times we dim our own light. Exactly. And that's what Dr. ND was saying. And that's what I was saying too. When we show up as less than what we are just to fit in, we are doing a disservice to everyone. We are not. Be proud of what you're worth. You are worth what you're worth. Even when you show up as less than, it does not change your worth. You still walked in the door being what you were worth, and you're going to walk out being what you are worth. But I get it sometimes because I've done this. Sometimes I got to spoon feed people doses of who I am because I feel like if I come in this room with my big self, and I mean, well, y'all know I'm with the Thickums, Fluffy Nation, you know what I'm saying? But when I say with my big self in this place, I mean, with all that I am, with all of the personality that we are, all of the gifts and talents that we are, we for those of us, some of us shake the room when we show up because we have so much in us. It's just who you are. You cannot help it. You cannot change it. It will not make a difference. Marilyn Jackson says, "Hey Nikki, hey beautiful, we in the house on tonight." Welcome in, everybody. It's Thursday night with me, your girl, Lady Dawn B. We are glad you are here tonight on another Thursday celebrating Women's History Month. And I have my sisters in this spot up here tonight. I'm excited. And we have some special guests that will be popping up real soon. But right now, for those of you who are joining and those of us who are watching in the silent section that don't want to come down to the comments, although I've told you that it's really safe down here, we promise you won't get hurt. Let me just tell you, we have Lady Risha Epps, my sis, in the house. We got the Dr. ND, needs no introduction, in the house. And my twin coach, Nikki, is in the building. The Overcomers in the house. Okay? So tonight we are talking about a woman's worth. And we were expressing the differences between worth and value, saying that the value of a person, according to the dictionary, value is the regard that something is held to by which it deserves, the importance or the worth or usefulness of something. And women sometimes, what our worth, we don't give ourselves the credit that we deserve. We don't understand our worth. Sometimes we discount. Sometimes we feel like we have to show up. And I believe I'm buffering a little bit, so y'all bear with me while we level out. We have to show up. Some of us show up in our spaces less than who we are really intended to be because we don't want other people to be uncomfortable. But what that does is it pushes you in, because I've done it. And I want to tell you that from the first time you do it, you start conditioning yourself to show up less than who you are. The first time you do it and you are successful at it, where you get people, because sometimes we show up in spaces. All right, it's going to be a little toxic when I say it. And I mean no offense. I just don't know other way to say it. Sometimes we show up in spaces that are beneath us, that we should not be in, that we know we have evolved from. And it's not to say that we are better than anyone, but sometimes we are looking for acceptance in spaces that we have evolved from. And so we start to diminish ourselves. It's like cutting off the edges of a puzzle piece to make it fit where you want it to fit. And it might fit where you want it to fit when you cut off those edges. But guess what? When that puzzle is complete, it is not going to look like it's supposed to, because that piece doesn't belong there. And it's the same thing with our worth. We start cutting off pieces of ourselves to show up in spaces that we do not belong in. We are looking for people to validate us in spaces that we have grown from. Some of us were never meant to even start in those spaces, but yet we're looking to be accepted. And I found, for me personally, when I did that, I realized it was because I didn't want to deal with the challenge of going to the space I was supposed to be in. Because when I go to the space I'm supposed to be in, it's going to be a stretch and it's going to be an expectation of me to show up as the qualified person that I am. And I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that kind of pressure. I don't want that kind of weight. I don't want to have to. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, is it just me? Is it just me? So it's easy. Right? It's easier for me to clip off parts of my wings so that I can fit into the lesser space instead of growing to where I'm supposed to be going. Come on, Coach Nikki, jump in this conversation. Then we're going to get Risha. And I see another special guest in the building. We're going to bring him up in a minute. Come on, twin.
First of all, twin, everything you said was tasty pudding. It was so yummy and delicious. It was all of that. There were no lies detected. No lies detected at all.
Help coming.
So,
I felt my help coming.
You felt that thing? So here's a fun fact about me. I had a podcast years ago that God made me call Let It Shine with Nikki Johnson. Reason being, during that season of my life, I was a light dimmer. Do you understand me? I was a light dimmer before they started selling them on the shelves, okay? If I felt like my light was going to make somebody uncomfortable, baby, I knew how to dim. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What?
And it didn't matter how much I tried to, God was going to always turn those lumens up. And all of us need to turn our lumens up, but I digress.
Certainly.
And so when it came time to do that podcast, and at the time they weren't called podcasts, they were called like internet radio shows, live radio, those things. I was like, God, what should I name it? And he said to me, you're going to call it Let It Shine with Nikki Johnson, because every time you say the name, every time someone says the name, it's to remind you to let your light shine. He did not give us what he gave us and create us to be who and how we are, for us to deem ourselves unworthy in an atmosphere that we turn that light down. Or because you don't want to make everybody else uncomfortable, you shrink. So I will never forget the day the Holy Spirit said, we are not of those who shrink back. And that became my motto. Let my light shine, and I'm not of those who shrink back. Now, part of why I shrunk was because people would walk away. I'd lose friends. I'd have friends say, you think you're better than. I'd have friends say, we tired of when we go places, you get all the attention. Like I had that for seasons of my life, and I got tired of people walking away. And I said, God, all I'm doing is showing up. I'm not doing anything intentionally to make somebody feel bad. But that caused something in me that God had to heal, right? And so there are some people who are watching or may watch this on your replay that you're doing that. You're shrinking back because you want to make everybody else happy. You don't want people to feel a certain way about you. So you want to blend in, but we were not made to blend. We were made to shine. We were made to stand out. We were made to be peculiar. And what's in you is going to always draw. If Jesus is in us, it's going to draw. You can't do nothing about that, but let Jesus be Jesus through you. So I will say we are not of those who shrink back. So we need to make sure we stop shrinking back, stop turning down our lights.
Hey, now, she said, we are not of those who shrink back. Okay. All right. Yes. I'll put that on t-shirt. We are not of those.
We are not of those.
That is it for me. We are not. I shan't be of those. We have to know, and that is so good, sis. That is so good. I tell you, I felt my help coming. But women, because we have come such a long way, and I think when we diminish ourselves, when we show up less than who we are really purpose and intended to be, we kind of take away from all of the work that women before us have put in for us to have the right to show up in these spaces, for our voices to be heard. They did not fight, cry, and become unalived, until the end of the journey for us to be less than. No, we have to be the voices of those women who've gone on and fought the fight before. We didn't have to. Okay, we may have to fight to get into some spaces, but we no longer have to fight for those spaces, because women before us fought for those spaces so that we can now fight to get into those spaces. So we
Yeah.
have to know our worth is so much more than our physical. Yes,
Yes.
wrap yourself up, present yourself well, tell yourself you're beautiful every day. From the time you wake up, I tell people, listen, my face don't wake up till about 10 o'clock. I'm up at 5 or 6, but this face don't come to life till about 10, but from the time you wake up, you've got to know the worth that you are bringing to the table every time we show up in a space, every time we present ourselves somewhere. I want to thank you for that, twin. I want to jump over to Risha and ask this question, because we got some special guests in the house that I want to make sure we bring up and get to on tonight. I want to ask you, Risha, while we're talking about our value and how we present, what makes us valuable? Is it our physical attributes? Is it our potential? Is it our achievements? What do you feel as a woman makes us valuable that adds to our worth?
I think it's all of those things. I think it's how you care for yourself, how you care about your physical. And because here's the thing, if you're not healthy, there'll be some things you desire to do that you can't do because your body won't allow it. If you don't look your best, there'll be some places that you won't go just because you feel like you don't present well. So I think it's all about being the total package. And when I say that, I don't want to use the word limits, but within, let me say within reason, not necessarily to somebody else's standards, but you need to be at a place with yourself that you are confident in who you are and you take care of you. That means your mental, that means your physical, that means educating yourself. If you know you're going into a space that maybe you're not well versed in, do the research, figure it out. Everybody who's in that space didn't come there. No, increase your own know. You don't have to wait for somebody to give you anything. Get it yourself. And all thy getting, get it all.
All
And
that getting?
all thy getting, get it all. And so I think we have to look at, we need to know that it's not this or that, it's both and. It's all of those things. We are phenomenal. We are dynamic. Things about us are interchangeable. One moment it might be the way we look that pulls us into a setting, and then once we get into the setting, it becomes the words that we use and how we can articulate. It might be our ability to listen attentively. We need to be able to command the room in all areas, not because somebody is deeming that of us, but because we are well able and capable. We were talking about statistics earlier. Black women are the most educated, the most degreed people in the U.S. today. So we have to look at who we are as a people, because there are shared experiences that will propel us into our next, into who we should be. And then also, what do we want for ourselves? And part of that, what that I've learned is make sure you have people around you who can see you. We can't see ourselves. What we see is a reflection of ourselves. When I look in the mirror, I see a reflection of me. When I'm dressed and I look down at my shoes, I see a different angle than somebody who was looking at me straight on. Make sure you surround yourself with people who are going to help undergird you, who can also speak to your worth and encourage you in those moments where you feel like you want to shrink back, where you feel like you want to dumb yourself down. Because here's the thing, perfection doesn't exist. Perfection hung, bled, and died on the cross. So we're not perfect, no, not one. We're going to always have those moments where we feel less than, or where we are not going to speak. But I've had people come in my life and tell me, open your mouth. Say what it is. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Because somebody needs to hear it. So you need to have people around you who can encourage you, who understands your value. Because here is the thing, those people who can see you understand more of your value if they're really in your corner than what you see as a reflection of yourself, because you cannot see you. All you see is a reflection. If there's no mirror in front of me, I can't tell you exactly what I look like. I can't tell you if my mascara is on straight, if my hair is out of place, but the person walking up can take full inventory of me. What I need to make sure is my moral inventory is okay, that my mental is good, that what I'm saying to myself is edifying, that I'm not letting the negativities of other people or the negative spaces that I encounter shift how I feel about myself. But you also need somebody who can come in and encourage your spirit and your soul because of what they see.
I love it. I'm here for it all. I'm here for it all. So what I'm hearing in this is what I drew from is that we are a buffet of all of these things. You know, we it is not just one thing. And I think sometimes when we talk about our value, what makes us valuable, we pick one of these things as the lead thing or as the main thing, or it's what we lead with. You know, whether it be we lead with our physicality. I want people to see how beautiful I am before they understand that I have a lot of intelligence. Sometimes we lead with our intelligence. I have a lot of book smart, but before I let you see me as the person or as the woman. Sometimes we might lead with our finances. Whatever the thing is, we pick one thing to lead with, and that's our introduction to people, instead of being a well-fused balance of all of these things. Now, I know that there comes times, depending on the arena that we're in, where you may have to lead with a particular thing. But when we're leading with one thing, it doesn't mean that we forget about all the other things. Lead with that, yes, but make sure that every other part of you shows up as well, so that people can really see what your value is. You are a buffet. We are an all-inclusive package, of these things. And we have to use all the pieces of who we are. I think that sometimes we tend to lean on what we lead with, and then we get stuck there and forget about everything else, because it's the one thing that got me in the door. And then we wonder why people only relate to us in this space. You'll only relate to me with my beauty if my beauty is all I ever show you. As opposed to, I used it to get in the door, but like you said, when I got in the door, I showed you how bright I was. I showed we don't use it as a leeway. Come on, coach, come on.
When you were talking, twin, what I thought about is because I love how you said that we lead in with the one thing. We are one of the only demographics that will devalue ourselves, but then get sad, depressed, and angry when other people devalue us.
And that's the tone we set.
That's the tone that we set. We don't show up in all of our glory. We show up being whatever you need me to be. So whatever I got to do to please you, that's what I am. And then when you use me, now I'm in my feelings because you are devaluing me. You don't want all of me. You just want that part of me. But that's what I led with. That's what I'm offering to you. No judgment, because we've all done it. Some of us are probably still doing it. But today there's a light being shown even on that, where we could change that. If you are leading with only one aspect of you, people are they're going to utilize what you give them. They're gonna take everything that you're giving, but then you got to examine you when you feel like, well, everybody's just using me and devaluing me. Have you given them all of your value and shown your worth, or have you sold yourself cheap for $1 and you're mad that people are only paying $1 for it? That's all I want to say.
I love it. I love it. I would just relate. I see you, Risha. I'm coming right to you. I would just relate to that, and I've experienced that, because even in ministry, I would say, again, I'm a God's girl. Y'all know this is not a Christian network, but we, whatever your moral compass is, we use. So this is my experience. So that's all I got. So I don't speak from that. But in ministry, people got to know me as the psalmist, as the worship leader, and they leaned on that more than anything else, and never really knew or understood that that's part of who I am, but it is not. That's my gifting, but it's not my calling. They're the whole word in my mouth. There's a whole intercessor in my being. There's a whole prophet that exists within me. All these other things that you don't know. But when I'm leading worship, what you don't realize is that all of those things that are culminated in me are coming out in that space, because this is the door that's been opened for me to express those things. But I'm bringing all of them. But people got used to me as just the worship leader, to the point where I had to stop. I was like, I don't even want to sing no more. I don't sing no more. And I just stopped. Because now people have to get to know you in a different bucket. I need you to stop seeing me as my entryway. What was the entrance? Because I'm more. When I walk in the room, I'm coming in here to bring my more, not just this one thing. So women, we got to realize our worth is a whole lot more than what we use to get in the door. Come on, Risha. And then I got a question for Dr. Indy.
And we also need to be aware of our level of comfort and the people's level of comfort who we deal with. A lot of times we lead with what we're most comfortable with. And so when we do that, and I tell anybody, if you're comfortable, you're not growing. You're just sitting there. We lead with what makes us comfortable. And so because we're comfortable, anybody know when you're comfortable, you're relaxed. You're not paying attention. You're kind of just going with the flow of a thing. So you miss things. So when people start to say stuff that's not edifying or want you to be something that you're not, it usually starts as something small. And by the time you realize what has happened, because you entered in and what was comfortable to you, you feel a certain way. And it's hard for you to pull out of that because let's be honest, we weren't paying attention when we enter in our comfort zone. We came in not on high alert. We came in what we were comfortable and what we knew. And sometimes that space it's like your home. I don't always walk in my house and go check all of the rooms because it's my house. I feel I locked it. I'm safe. But it's in those times where you feel like you're the safest that you tend to be the most abused. The other thing about that on the flip side is you have people who clearly know who you are, who clearly understand your capabilities, but because they are not comfortable with who you are, they will open up the door just for you to do what makes them comfortable. In those situations, you then have to assess your value and your worth and say, hey, is this something that I want to do? Is this the avenue that I want to take? Do I just want to be in this space? Let me say this, do I see an opportunity to do more? Or am I going to walk in and this is all they're going to ever let me do and all I'm going to ever be because this is where they are comfortable? And so we have to make sure that we don't match how we move according to how comfortable we are, because growth comes from a space of not being comfortable. Right. Trying to fix or shift what that is about us, that whatever it is that makes us unsettled. And so those are the areas where you usually experience growth. But when you are moving in your comfort, you will miss things. You're relaxed. You're not paying attention. And so for us as Black women, that is what I would consider a major pitfall, because we lose the ability to properly assess where we are, where we're going, and what we should be doing, because it comes so easy.
Right. Right. And I think we have to just, for all women, we have to be careful of those comfort pockets that we get into and don't stay there. Disciples, but thank you, Lady Risha, for that amazing share and pour, in addition to what Coach Nikki has dropped in this place. Disciple Spencer says, when you are comfortable, you are not growing, as you were saying, right? You're not growing. We got to be willing to lean into the stretch and be uncomfortable. And so I want to again thank everyone for joining us on tonight. We're not done yet. I have two guests that I want to bring up to this platform to enhance this conversation on tonight. We are not done. We're talking about a woman's worth for this month of Women's History. We don't want to repeat history. We want to make new history. We want to understand what we are really worth and where our worth really comes from, because there are some women who don't know, or maybe there's some women who have one understanding, but we really need to be enlightened on a different understanding. Some woman needs to know that you are free to be all that you desire to be. Every bit of what you've been made to be and what your purpose to be, your worth does not come from outside entities. Your worth comes from inside, from what you put in you. They can only see or try to value what you give them. That's a part of you. So I want to add some people to the conversation tonight, because we talking amongst ourselves, ladies, we vibing. But two aspects that we want to make sure that we touch on as well. Because it's good when us sisters, us women can get together, and it's not, it's just the women, but we think our value may be one thing, or understand our value one way. And we look for that to be received by everyone else. But I want to bring a man into the conversation to help share on, how men see the value of a woman. Now, he doesn't speak for every man in the universe, but he's just bringing a male perspective to the conversation. And the reason being is because a lot of times, women, we are so concerned, and to a degree we should be, but we are baiting ourselves in a way in order for a man to accept us, so that we can belong, so that we can be a part of, because we want that relationship, because we want that husband, right? Or is it just me? Okay, I've been there by myself. All right. Sometimes we dim our lights, right? Or we change who we are, right? Or we don't show up in our full selves, right? Because there's someone that we are looking to, we want their attention. We want to show up in a person's life a certain way. And so we may dim our value, or we may even be deceptive about our value. Sometimes we make ourselves, or we pose to be something that we are not, because we are thinking that this is what men want or need from us, based on, I'm going to say it, competition with other women. We all want to be the top dog. So, if I have to, tweak my story a little bit, or fake it till I make it. But when I make it, I'll master it then, instead of learning from the ground up. Because we all want to be loved. We all want to be accepted. But I want us to hear from a man's perspective as far as really how men perceive the worth of a woman. Because we would be surprised sometimes about how our men really feel and value us. Also, I want to bring to the platform one of our seasoned sisters, someone who is a plethora of wisdom and full of grace, because as we go and as we grow, guess what? Our value does change, because we reach new heights. And once our goals are accomplished, then we have to find something else to add value to our lives. So what I'm reaching for, today, is not going to be what I'm reaching for in 25 years, because I will have accomplished that. So what I'm using now to add value to my life, is that going to be as valuable in 25 years? And if it is not, does that decrease my value? So I want to bring to the platform right now my big brother. He's no stranger. Y'all see him, and you're going to see him a whole lot more. He is agreed to be the co-moderator and leading voice on the Men's Lounge, which is soon to return. He is in the person of my big bro, Rock Nobles. And also, you know her, you love her. She is absolutely no stranger. She is the awesomest little thing that could ever be. She's my mama. Mama Rosa is in the building. Y'all know she's sassy these days, so be careful. All right, watch your voice, people. Come on up, Rock, to the building. Thank you for waiting so patiently. And mommy, how are you? How are you? How are you?
I'm not sassy.
She's
You
sassy.
tell
She's
her,
already
mama. You
sassy, y'all.
tell her.
She said, "Get it straight. I'm not sassy."
I'm not sassy.
You tell her.
Y'all know she listen every week that she's been on here. She says something that everybody been writing down and putting on the t-shirt. Okay, we ain't playing with her tonight. And how are you, big bro? Welcome to the platform.
I am doing fine. How's everybody doing? Hey, mama.
Hey, everybody. Everybody. Everybody.
So
Hey,
I
Nikki. Hey, Risha. Dr. Indy. How everybody doing?
don't get big bro stuff.
Blessings. Hey, mama.
We are a host of hostess on tonight. So I want to
Yeah.
add them into, huh?
No, I was
I want to
laughing.
add into this conversation on tonight. Don't start, big bro. Don't do it. We want to add them into this conversation on tonight because, like I said, we want to get a male perspective. They've been in the back, they've been listening, and they are ready to share. So, big bro, I want to ask you to just share with us from a male perspective when we talk about a woman's worth. A lot of us have been taught or trained or have the mentality, not all but some, that our worth with men is based upon disciple Spencer says, "Hey, mama." um it's based upon our appearance, over the content of who we are and how we show up in your spaces. And so if you could just share really from, and again, we know that you don't speak for every man, but we just want to tap into your thoughts as a man. If you can share with us really the thought behind, men have pertaining to what really makes a woman, the worth of a woman in the eyes of a man. What really makes her valuable to you?
Well, the value to me and the worth to me from a woman, for me, is her mind. Um, how she process stuff, what's her thought process. Um, what's her what's her vision in life, what she want to do. Her self-esteem. Does she have good self-esteem? That's critical. Self-esteem is critical because if like, say for instance, for an example, if I'm interested in someone, right, and they have low self-esteem, my personality could almost make it look like that, I may be taking advantage or abusive towards that person because their self-esteem is so low or they don't have any self-esteem. So, you just got to be careful. So, and a person's worth, to me, a woman should be in control of her worth or her value. But a lot of times, a man knows your value, or I would know a woman's value by what they lead with. If they lead with sex appeal, in my mind, that's their best asset. If that's what they
Mm.
leading with, your body can't be your best, should not be your best asset. You know, it's like your mind, your knowledge, your vision. Um, are you empathetic? Are you nurturing? Right? Are you creative? All of this should lead with and then everything else just follow suit, because you can lead with sex appeal and have nothing after that, right? Because let's be honest,
Mm-hmm.
my build, everybody, how we look now, as one day or another, it's going to change. But your mind,
True that.
hopefully,
It has already
right,
changed. It's
your
already
mind,
changed.
hopefully it grows more and more as time go on. You become more nurturing, you become more of a visionary, you become more creative, you develop more courage, you know and your emotional intellect grows. You don't want, something. So it all depends on how a woman leads. And if you're experience is always physical, well, maybe you're not looking at women. Maybe you're looking at girls trapped in women's bodies. So let's you gotta change your audience. Change what where are you looking at? What form are you in? So you gotta change, and it's the same thing, vice versa. So you just gotta that's in short, that's what it is. If your body's your best asset, if that's what you lead with, that's what they're gonna run. That's what they're gonna run with. But you want to be appreciated more than just your beauty.
Right.
You don't the beauty. Don't get me wrong. There ain't nothing wrong with a beautiful woman. Don't get me wrong. It ain't nothing wrong with it. But that should not be.
Come on.
That should not be the
We out
top.
here.
It should.
We out
It should
here.
not be the top. For for me, it's not the top.
No, that's good. That's good. And thank you for that because, ladies, it's important that we hear this and it's important that we hear it more than once. Because I know for me and Big Bro and I were actually talking earlier and I was sharing with him, like, that is a concept that I have to learn at this big old age of 55 to get out of my head. Because that's one of the things that's in the way for me. Like, just being, and ladies, we know how we've been in our girlfriend groups, and it's like, girl, he just wants you for your body, girl. He just want to get you in the bed, girl. He's your face and buying you A, B, and C, or trying to show up. And then we have this mentality like, okay, I see your representative, but I'm waiting for the real you to show up. When we know that intimacy is a part of any relationship, it's going to come up at some point. But because I've already built up this wall and of defense, that the minute that you do approach me, with the opportunity of intimacy, I'm like, oh, that was it. See, you don't love me. You don't respect me. All of this was a lie. You don't see what I'm worth. You don't understand my value. I'm the only one. I'm the only one who been there. Okay. I was saying, I've done that. I see you, big bro. I'll come right to you. But we need to understand that, like he's saying, and I've heard this from multiple men now, that although men are visual creatures, and yes, everybody wants something beautiful. You have 5 beautifully fierce women up on this platform, but not all men, some are after that first. But like Coach Nikki said, and like Rock said, got to be mindful of what we are leading with. What is our best asset that we're putting out? I say the same bait that you use to get something is the same bait, same thing you're gonna have to feed it in order to keep it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start leading with your body and your looks, do not expect that man to really want to hear your intellect later on, because that is what we used, as the primary. That's the thumbprint that we put in there, into their heads, that develops that that relationship space. So we have to be mindful of what we're leading with, and our self-esteem is so important. We don't have to show up shy and coy and really needy. You can be the
Clingy.
strong, independent woman that you are.
Yeah.
Right. Well, clingy. I don't know. Some like clingy. Some. But we know. There's a healthy level of cling. It's a healthy level. Um, but we have to be mindful of what, again, like I said, what we're leading with, how we're presenting, and making sure that we are showing up authentically. Rocky wanted to add something, and then I'm gonna jump to
Just
Mom,
one
unless
quick
one of the
thing.
ladies.
Just one quick
Mm-hmm.
thing. A woman will show her worth through how she respects herself and how she allows others to respect her. You can't allow someone, you have to show a person how you desire to be respected.
Come on.
If they cannot meet that, then some changes need to be made. I don't tell people walk away and nothing like that. I just say changes need to be made, because you can't you can't respect yourself a certain way and then allow someone else to respect you differently. You can't
Mm-hmm.
do that. That's all I wanted to add.
No, That's good, and I'm glad you added that, because I think that, when someone, we do have to teach people how to respect us, but we have to show up respectful of ourselves first of all,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be willing to take that loss if they, if they're not. But the encounter isn't really a loss if you're not receiving the treatment that you really want to receive. Coach Nikki, did you want to say something? I see you, Reese. I think you want to say something
You read my mind now, twin.
too.
I, I I love what Rockology said. Hey, Rock. Um, we will call that you teach people
Hey,
how to
baby.
treat you. Hey, love. You teach people how to treat you. One thing I've learned from a man, many of them, I have a lot of male friends, brothers, etc., and been married before, is a man watches you before he approaches you. So he's paying attention to how you treating you, how you
Mm-hmm.
take care of you. Now, if he ain't interested in you, he's interested in that thing. He ain't watching you like that. He watching you.
Mm-mm.
He ain't watching you like that. But if
Right.
he's interested in you and getting to know you, best believe he watches you first and he
Mm-hmm.
pays attention. So it's not in what you say when you teach people how to treat you, it's what you're doing that's teaching people how to treat you. And best believe they pay attention. If you are treating yourself one way, but you saying something else out your mouth, they know because they
Mhm.
watched you long enough. So they're going to see how you treat you. And if you don't treat you like you're worth nothing, and he's that type of man that will be like, well, shoot, ain't much hard work I gotta do. I treat her to a Chili's dinner and we good. Then
Oh,
that's what you're gonna get because he's paying attention to that. So it's not even always just what we're leading with. Because let's be honest, a man is visual. We're
right,
visual. I mean,
right.
oh, you're gonna see somebody, you're gonna see them first, right? But what he gets attracted to and what he stays attracted to are two different things.
Oh, say that again. Say that again.
What he gets attracted to and what he stays attracted to are two different things.
Two different things. So make your walk. Let your, when we, I like to say in the church, when we shout, let your feet testify. Your mouth don't have to do it. Let your feet testify. Let your actions speak louder than your words. Come on, Risha. That was good, sis. We gotta let that breathe. You want to share something too, Risha, before I go to mom?
I was basically saying, gonna say the same thing that Coach Nikki just said. The first attraction is always physical attraction. I don't know nothing about your mind, nothing about your intellect. I don't know it, but I see your presentation, not what you put forward. Because a lot of times people are watching you, and you don't even know you're being watched. It's how it is. It's how you carry yourself. It's what you do and what you don't do. And I'll be honest. Now you can look good, and then when the conversation starts and you're just an empty wagon making a lot of noise, and of course that it's an immediate turn off. But I'm gonna be honest, I see you across the room and you 6'2", 6'4". I mean, you my cup of tea, and the conversation is gonna start. Now I don't know if it's gonna it might there might not be a stick and stay, but there'll be a startup, and then
My
yeah, we'll start, but we just might not finish, if you will.
watch your voice. Watch your voice. It's grown folks night. Watch your voice now. Okay, you might have to see it. Oh Lord, ain't no stick and stay. Now she got me tongue tied. No stick and stay. Might not, but we gonna find out. We gonna find all the way out. I'm not mad at that. So I'm gonna move on to Mama Rosa here, and ask her a question before um, I have a final question. I hope that you are enjoying this conversation. I hope that is helpful to someone, to anyone, to everyone in some way, shape, or form. Grab the nuggets that are available to you. It's these conversations that we need to have, and we need to have them with ourselves. We need to have them with each other so that we can start breaking some of these old habits and old thoughts and start showing up better as ourselves. Start being more confident in who you are and learning that it is okay. It is absolutely okay to be all of you. because that is what adds to your worth and then your value. So, Mom, I want to ask you, as the seasoned lady on this platform here, who has a host of wisdom and intelligence and life experience, um, as we're talking about the worth and the value of us as women, and I said before, what we add to ourselves increases our value. So what, we look for at 25, now at this age of 55, is different. I've already accomplished those things. You being a woman who has had life experiences, you've lived, and she said it, so I know she doesn't mind me sharing. 80 years worth of life as an incredible woman who is currently, that's right. My mama is 80, y'all. She don't look it, but she sure is. Okay. All right.
Our mama is 80.
I'm sorry. You right. You right.
Thank
Thank
you. Thank
for
you.
correcting me.
Thank you.
Our mama is 80.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. All
Just lived
right.
80 good years. You right. You right, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Our mama is 80. And she, for those of you who may know, she right now she's in school. She is already, achieved 2 master's degrees, like 3 bachelor's degrees, and she is working on her doctorate right now at 80. Now, most people or some at this age and stage wouldn't be thinking about school, wouldn't be thinking about, you thinking about the ending of your life, not continuing to live, but it's these things that are adding value to who she is and to what and to what she has to offer. So my question to you tonight, Mommy, is as we grow in life and as we are getting older and better, welcome in, Rod. It's good to see you. He says, amazing. That's my guy, y'all. Y'all say hi to Rod up in the comment section. Thank you for joining us on tonight. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy you made it. So as we grow and we go, because our goals, what we've added value to in the past, once we hit that, and you've achieved so much, but at this beautiful age of 80, going for a doctorate degree, and again, most people would be going in the opposite direction. Do you think, or at this point in life, how do we keep the value of who we are as women or as people, even as we grow and we age when we're getting older? How do we continue to add to who we are so that our worth still remains worthy? Come on, ma'am.
Well, I think to start with, yes, that was a lot. At this point, for me, I'm doing what I was supposed to do before this point. Actually, it's not like you add a room onto a house. I'm doing what I was supposed to do and thought I didn't have to do it until the Lord said to me, "You're not finished. You're not finished."
I remember that.
Yep. And I had no intentions of going back to school. I knew doctorate um, was in my purpose, but I honestly didn't want to do it because I knew that a doctorate would do just what it does. It's very consuming. Um, you might as well give up your life for that amount of time that you're gonna, because it's over. You go to sleep for a few minutes and then you get up and and that's your life. But I think, in answer to the question, I don't really think we change our worth. I think not in the sense of I don't want this or I don't want that. I think the change that we do to our worth is we modify what's already in us. When you know, when we are first born, we have all those things in us. It's already there. We just have to develop it. But what happens is if you know, two scenarios. If you have parents that are encouraging you, teaching you, and whatnot, you've got a very good start. But when you have to scramble and find out who you are by yourself, that's a whole different situation. So there's ingredients that are missing, you know. So if you don't have what you need in that trimester, you're not going to get it. You know, it's just not going to happen. Um, but you know, for me, um, I'm the youngest of four, and my mom passed away before I was a year old, so I didn't have that, you know, important ingredient for my life, and I had to find it because it was important to me. It wasn't enough for my sister to be surrogate. I had to actually see what it looked like to have a mother in the home. So, you know, I was welcomed at everybody's table in the community, you know, and that helped me because that was what was important to me. That was the key to me. It was my mother, because I wanted to grow up to be a mother and, you know, a wife, and it was important for me. Those values have not changed, you know, they have not changed for me. Um, some of them are rested, you know, but that maternal part of me is still there, you know. That's why I said, you know, we don't really exchange, we just modify those things, you know. So now I'm a grandmother, I'm a great grandmother, so I can still get to express being a mom. But I think what happens is when we go through life, um, and we encounter things before we have an experience, you know, before we have experience, we have these dreams and we visualize them to be a certain way, and then experience comes in, and then something happens to knock you off of your horse, and then you start doubting, you know, who you are, what you're supposed to do. You live in that realm for a long period of time, in that negative, you know, you lose hope, you know. um, but then, you know, but you can get back up again. I'm an absolute witness, you can get back up again. When I married your father, I was already singing professionally, already had recording a contract, all I was already there. So when we got married, he didn't know who he was, so he wasn't going to let me remain to be who I was. So I put that aside, because now I was a wife, and then I became a mother, and so that became my focus. But the writing, the singing, the, you know, all the other things that I wanted to do, they never left. You know, I just waited for that period of time. I had my moments when I would, you know, write, because that's what was in me. You know, so that's why I said I don't think we don't, it doesn't die. We just modify it. We just modify it. And so now at this point in my life, I still write, I still sing, um, I still have those dreams. I still have that promise that God made to me, and I haven't lost hope. I haven't lost hope, because last the last message that I heard, he said, delayed but not denied. And you figure, you know, at this age, you know, well, it's not going to happen. But my confidence is in the promise maker, you know. So I keep going with, you know, I keep going with that. Um, and I think what happens is that we need more teachers. We need people to open up and say, listen, you know, we have young girls that have babies out of wedlock, and we kind of cast, you know, kind of throw them aside. Or that's what we used to do. Used to throw them aside, or whatever the case may be. And I remember once in church, I said, listen, I was married and I was a single mom because my husband was absent. He wasn't there. I mean, come on, let's stop um, castrating these young girls and stop telling them the truth. We didn't all wait until we got married. We did it, and so, but that doesn't change who she is. Speak to her right where she is. And I think this is the problem, not just with families and churches, is that we are afraid to be open and honest about who we are. We're afraid to share. And this is why, we're like trying to find out answers right now because um, the people that have the information are afraid, but if I could say this, um, the scripture says that if any man be in Christ, he's a brand new creature. Old things have passed away. I'm a brand new creature. So what I did before him is not hurting me, but it could help somebody else. So we need to be on that page where we say at 80, yes, I'm doing what I was supposed to do. I don't know how long ago, but when he said to me, "You're not finished," I was like, "Yes, sir. Okay." And I'm moving forward. And as much as I kick and scream, and I don't want to do this because I think honestly, by the time you get ready to get a doctorate, I honestly believe you need a whole new brain. You need a brain just for that because it's just off the off the
Need a
chart.
whole
You're
new
like,
brain.
what? But
Yep.
it's the level of thinking that you have to honestly rise up to, and I guess that's why they called you a doctor when you finished with this degree because you mastered something. you know, you've gone beyond the norm
Right.
and whatnot. But I'll just say, yeah, my character hasn't changed. My aspirations haven't changed. My convictions definitely have not changed. I still feel the same way that I felt about those things that made me, who I am. So let that experience make you look at your dreams, whether you've accomplished them or not. Let them, like fortify that, re-energize you, revive you, refresh you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make it with this doctor. By next year, this time, I'll be finished,
You have a
and
whole new
then
story to tell.
y'all pray for me.
Well, thank you for that, Mama. That was good because people need to know, we need to understand that, even as we progress in life, women, and as we grow older and more seasoned, as we become more mature and experienced. I don't want to say necessarily older, and you got to own your age, and that's good. We have earned where we are, but it's good to know that our worth does not stop. We don't stop becoming valuable because we have accumulated age. I like what you said, Mom, about modifying what's in us. We still have a right to be vibrant. You are as alive as you feel. You are as alive as you allow yourself to be. The numbers may say 80. Sometimes my mother gets around better than I do. I'd be like, okay, I gotta stop and rest, and she be ready to go. But you are as lively as you want to be. It does not change who you are. It adds to the experience. It adds to the value. Which adds to your worth. Well, it adds to your worth, which increases your value. So don't think that we're ever too old or too far along in life not to keep doing, not to keep adding. We should be forever adding to who we are and to what we want to do. We're not decreasing in value as we grow older. When you grow, you're adding. You're adding value. You're adding on top of, but we have to have something to begin with. But I really do love that about modifying, what is in us. And I think another thing we have to understand that as we grow and we get more experience, um, our mistakes don't change our value. They may dilute them for a time, but it doesn't erase how valuable you really are. You know, come on, Nikki.
If I may jump on that real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
I had written this down earlier when your mom first started talking. Um, we all have made mistakes, right? We've all fallen short. We've all sinned. We've all done wrong. Before we ever said, God, forgive me, he loved us just as we were, so much that he sent his son, sacrificed him for us. He sacrificed him for broken, sinful, cruel, all the things you can come up with opposite of good. He loved us even with that. I'm saying that to say that there is nothing that devalues us except in our minds. Because no matter what you consider yourself to be less than, you're still going to be valuable to God. He said what he said, and that's it. You can't do nothing to change that. Value tag was priced, it was placed. You cannot do anything to change it. Once he sent his son to die for you, that showed you what your worth was. Now, in your mind, you may think it's less. You may think because yesterday you made the mistake that you made, or last night, or today, or you sinned, or you did whatever, that devalued you, but it didn't. It did not devalue you to the one who placed the value on you. I'll say this, and I'm done. We were to die for. That is how valuable we are. So that is flaws and all. He loves us as that and still values us even though we are. So if he can do it, and I didn't send no my son die for none of y'all, but if he could do that and send his son to die for me because I was just that valuable, why do we think it's okay for us to devalue ourselves or even devalue others? I'm done.
Well, that's good. Thank you for that, Nikki. I approve this share. And I agree. You
That's
know,
why she
whatever
the
you,
coach.
come on, coach. Right. So whatever your moral compass is, like we said, you know, we whatever yours is, most of us on here are believers. So our moral compass is God. You already know you're gonna get a little Jesus when you get me every time, you know. But know that your age, your experiences, your mistakes, your errors, women are bad choices. The times when I said no and I should have said yes, the times when I said yes and I should have said no, what I did in my 20s versus now I'm in my 50s, none of that takes away from the value of who you are. And it does not diminish your worth. You are worth everything that was put in you from the time you were perceived and released into this earth. You are worth every bit of everything, every dream. You are worth going after. You are worth going to get it. This is Women's History Month. We don't want to keep reading about history of other women. It's time for us to make history. And for me, that is what this month is about, helping us to be encouraged in those spaces, those things that we have gone through, that we allow to hover over us and keep us suppressed. I'm at a point in my life where I don't want to be suppressed for anything. I want to be so uninhibited that it's ridiculous. I want to be free in every area of my life to live, love, laugh. You know, you might have to pull my reins in a little bit because I might be, a little extra. So, let me go out too far. If you leave me, sometimes I need adult supervision because I'll go all the way out there. But, we have every right to be everything that you want to. The world is awaiting for you to show up and put your thumbprint in the earth. That is not what makes you worthy. What makes us worthy is how we treat those that are closest to us. How we leave an effect, a ripple in the water in our neighborhoods, in our communities. I don't care if it's in the people next door to you. How we treat the elderly, how we handle the children, how we manage each other. Am I lifting up my sister even when I don't agree with what she's going through or what she's done or her choices? That's how we make history, because we're making changes. History repeats itself when we do not learn from it. And we can celebrate all of the wonderful women that have gone before us, that have added worth and have added value to life. But when the next generation comes up, whose names will they be able to celebrate? Who will they be able to honor? Who will they be able to say, she did it so I can? And we have to start making these small, I don't want to say small because they're not small, these intricate impacts on those closest to us. Because that's how we change and that's how we make history. Because the one that we encourage and help change and alter their life is going to set fire to the next one that make change and alter their lives. And before you know it, it's not just any one woman making change and alter their lives, but it is a plethora of women who are making changes and altering their lives and now leaving their mark on the world. So I want to encourage us tonight, and I hope that this conversation has been great, that you've gotten something from it. A woman's worth is far more than just what we show in the natural. Your worth is based on your value, and your value is based on what you add to yourself, your content. Every day, my motto is go be great. Go be great. You don't have to, you're not great because somebody saw it. You're great just because you're great. Everybody don't know what greatness looks like. So sometimes we got to introduce them to greatness. Sometimes you got to show them what greatness looks like. And it doesn't mean that you have to have everything in order. It doesn't mean that you have to have all your ducks in a row. What makes us great is that we press through the hard times and keep on going. That even if it doesn't turn out the way that we wanted, guess what? We're not still at that same place of our starting point, and we're not stuck. We've made a move so that we have something to work with. So I want to thank the panel for being here on tonight. I want to thank all of you for tuning in and being a part of this amazing conversation. I want to go around the panel and give their final words based off of this question, and give them about 2 minutes to answer so that we can get to everyone before we depart on tonight. So I want us to leave the people with a word of encouragement, our women and our men, because men need to understand this conversation as well. So you know how to support your women, the women in your lives, not just the woman that you may be with or lay with, but your daughters, your nieces, your mother, your aunts, your sisters, those who are still struggling to become, some who are still, as Auntie Sheila, Auntie Barbara says, in their not yetness. We are forever evolving. So this conversation is important because we need your support to make history, to make our history count. You know, there's nothing that matters more. I don't care how many men say something to me, but you know, when you are in a relationship or in a marriage, you know, when that man in your life speak, you don't care what nobody else says. When he speaks, you know, look, you feel like you could go out there and wrestle a tree and win. You know what I'm saying? You could climb a mountain, right? Like baby set me off. Like he said I could do this, so I'm gonna go do it. Because your voice, I don't know if you really understand men, and men, y'all say it when it comes to us women. Like a woman will put that battery in your back just by the simplest thing that we say. Like, boy, you better go out there and show them who you are with all of your whole fine self. You know, whatever it is that we got to say to you. Women, we need, right, Rock? Got to do it to you, right? Let Robin tell you stop. What? You go out there thinking that you are Hercules, Superman, and Batman all put together. Look at him, taking over the whole world. You know, you need those words of encouragement from that person closest to you. It breathes life. It speaks life. And it pushes you to your next. And men, we as women, we need that as well. We know sometimes we can be clingy or, you know, what y'all call super feminine or whatever. But guess what? When I am in my soft girl space, I need you to be like, baby, it's okay. I got you. You know what? Let's take 10 minutes. Let you rest in that for a second. But you can't stay here because I need you to get up and I need you to go be that woman. I need you to get what's your name is, girl? You know, who you represent, girl. You know, like what? Because when I see you, I see me. You know, we need that. We need that. Help us come out of the spaces that we are in so that we can go be great. Because when one of us wins, we all win. So
Yeah,
my
we need
question,
that. I'm only a tank full of gas away. We need that.
that's that's why I say he already know what is going to. Let me find out. You know, I'm gonna take. I got my gas tank. Where we going? What we doing? I'm gonna take full. It ain't nothing but a tank full of gas, and it'll be right there. You know. So my last question to everyone on tonight is this. So I want you to take your 2 minutes to have your final thoughts and comments and share. Is because I think this is going to be most important for a lot of us. How do we keep our value as we go along this life's journey? I'm going to start with Coach Nikki, my twin. Wait, I might have to leave you for last because
Okay.
I'm gonna wait because I feel because I'm sensing something. I'm sensing something. Okay, come on, Rock. Come on, big bro. How do we keep our value?
Well, you will keep your value by continue learning, continue developing, continue demonstrating high performance, um, continue maturing, um, just growing. Just know that it's whatever the state of the value is not. You can't conquer value. Value either always growing or is depreciating. It's going one way or the other. So hopefully to keep it, you want to just keep growing in it, developing, becoming more knowledgeable, gaining more wisdom, and treating people better, prioritizing, taking
Okay.
advantage of opportunities to make you better, to make your family better, to make your marriage better. It's just that's where your value increases. And then over time, when that man is head over heels over that woman or vice versa, that's why. Because they continue to grow in it. They continue to evolve.
That's good. Keep growing in it so you can continue to evolve. Come on, sir. I'm gonna go up to my sis, the lady Risha. Come on, take 2 minutes and tell us as we're wrapping up tonight. How do we keep our value so that we can keep showing up as valuable?
Learn to love yourself. Um, we take care of the things we love, even if it doesn't, because I believe value is it's each to its own. If I don't value me, if I don't love me enough to do the things that I need to do for me, to encourage me, to leave a legacy, to change my space, um, then I can't expect people to see in me what I don't see in me. Learn to love yourself. And if there are areas within yourself that you do not love, first figure out why that is. And if it's just, then change it. Change it. Understand that change is inevitable. Accept the change, and be comfortable with the fact that uncomfortability is where God has us. If you're not, whatever is not growing is dead. And while you still yet live, change is going to be the avenue to sustain, because what is standard or average today will be mediocre and subpar tomorrow. So learn to love yourself. Start off with self-care, and only from
That's
that
good
space
stuff. Good stuff.
and
Good
then you
stuff.
change your
Hmm.
surroundings in such a way that your value then speaks for yourself and it becomes perpetual.
All right.
That was
Learn
good.
to
That
love
was good.
yourself. Start with loving yourself and let it lead into self care so that it starts a perpetual cycle. Come on, Dr. ND. Give us your 2 minute closing final words on how do we keep our value so we can keep showing up as valuable. Right, we'll come back to Dr. ND. She might have stepped away. Come on, Mama Rosa. How do we keep our value so we can keep showing up as valuable? Give us your 2 minute. You don't drop the bomb already. Modify what's in us. That was it for me.
Well, when I think about worth and value, I think about something that's important. So, what is it about me that's important? And um, it's what is in me, what's been given to me to do. And like Risha said, you know, the love. If I love me, I'm gonna love you. You know, so you gotta love. At what point do you not love yourself? Do you only love yourself when you're doing good? Do you only love your children when they're good and they make you proud? Or do you love your children at all times? My second husband was addicted to drugs, and one of his issues was he didn't think that his mother loved him. I think it was just an excuse, so that when, you go and you pick up or whatever. But anyway, that's what he said. And he struggled with that, being loved and not loved by his mother. So I said to her one day, um, so if he was in the hospital and he was dying, would he not still be your son? Would you not love him because you know, and that's so important. How do you not lose your value? Is you keep holding on to what you know is important to you. You keep holding on to who you are and what you've been given to do, even if you haven't accomplished it yet. You still keep on pressing. Every day that we wake up is an opportunity, to make that those things come true. Just remember the parable of the talents, when about four people were given talents and one didn't do anything with the one, yet the one that had the most everybody did double, except the one that only had one. So you had no purpose. You have at least one. And so you keep on working on yourself until you achieve that thing, that we've been given to do. So it's what's important. What am I here for? That's what keeps me holding on to my worth.
Thank you for that, Mama. Um, think that's right. Modify. I think we have to make modifications several times, throughout our lives when it comes to our value and our worth. We have to keep adjusting as we're evolving and as we achieve. Thank you for that share. I'm going to swing back to Dr. ND, see if she's free to share with us in our final comments about how do we keep our value so that I can keep on showing up valuable. Dr. ND,
Well,
you there?
I
Oh,
do. Thank you so much. I'm glad you let me go before Coach Nikki so I can be able to show up the next time we are on. So what I will say is knowing your past does not define you. It's the foundation on which greatness is going to be built on. Continue to extend grace to yourself because as you evolve, you're going to make some mistakes, but your mistakes don't define who you are in that moment. They help you to evolve greater for the next moment. And also to remember that love is one of the greatest gifts. And if you show up in your authenticity, nothing should be able to rock you from the foundation that you stand on.
I love it. I love it. The gift of love and extend grace to yourself. I'm big on heavy on the grace of myself, but we have to use grace in the positive way, not in a way where we are taking advantage. Use grace for what grace is there for, which is to get yourself together, not a break in between the tomfoolery. I'm just saying. But I love that. So come on, Coach Nikki, because I feel a shando. I'm sorry, y'all. I felt a little something in my spirit. I told y'all I'm a God's girl. So come on, twin. Tell us in our closing, how do we keep our values so that we can keep showing up valuable?
So I'm gonna give the Lady Don B family four things. Number one, I start by knowing that I'm that good and that fine wine that keeps getting better with time. Know
Oh,
that for yourself. I'm that good wine.
I'm
Number
that.
two, I enhance my worth by becoming more and more of who God created me to be. Notice I chose the word enhance because I can't take away from the word He's already given me. So I can't enhance it by becoming more and more of who I should be. I go do whatever it takes to be the best version of myself. Number three, nobody can weigh me on a scale and tell me what my value is.
Oh,
Why? Because Christ already did that on the cross. So therefore, you cannot give me my value, tell me my value, nor devalue me. The scale was already weighed for me. And number four, I do not depreciate because the Holy Spirit lives in me. That is all. That is how you keep your worth. I love you, twin.
see, it was a reason. I felt it. I felt it. Mashonda was something. I was like, I just felt it. She just shut it down. She said, "I am that fine wine. I am
I am
that.
that.
That is that. Okay, that's t-shirt worthy. It shall happen. I am that. I am." And she said,
Mhm.
"You're gonna enhance. I'm going to enhance that which I already am. I'm going to make it bigger, greater. I'm going to expand it, increase it, extend it. Oh, yes, I am. I'm going to make it bigger, brighter, and better. So
Mhm.
we are enhancing those things." She said, "Nobody can weigh me on the scale and tell me your scale can't handle the." Listen, this year I call myself team pressure. Your scale cannot handle. Can you handle this pressure? Ain't no scale here that can handle this pressure. It's just pressure. I'm just saying. She done heard. Listen, I need a Selah moment. I'm just saying. And most of all, I do not depreciate mighty God. Okay, now come on. I only get better with time, not worse. When you drive a car off the lot, I don't care what you paid for it. I don't care what kind of car it is. It could be a 2029 and 2025, but the minute those tires hit that street, it
It
depreciates in
appreciates.
value, period, point blank, and period. However, when it comes to me and my value, I could step out the door a million times and I'm still going to be worth what I was before I left. And matter of fact, when I come back, I'm going to be worth even more. My God, drop the mic, Nikki. Drop the whole daggone mic on tonight.
Amen. Amen.
Oh, Lord. So thank you. I felt it. I'll tell you, I felt it in my shanzo. Felt that's good. You're gonna have to text me that because yeah, I need that. I'm gonna put that up. That is postable. That is Instagrammable. That,
Wait, merchandise is coming soon.
hey now. That is TikTokable. That is Facebookable. Okay, steps 1 through 4 about your worth. It is social media-ish. Okay, it needs to be heard. I want to thank you, my sis, Lady Risha, the Dr. N.D. Brown. Thank you, Mama Rosa. There's none other like she up in here. My big brother, like none other. I'm absolutely 1,010% biased. Rockology, always bringing the knowledge up in the house. And to my twin, the coach, Nikki, in the building. I want to thank all of y'all for coming on tonight. Go through Women's History Month, and we talked about a woman's worth on tonight. Ladies, I hope you have taken notes. Gentlemen, I hope that you have some nuggets that you took back with you too. Follow all these great people on every social media platform that you can find. I promise you, your life will change for the better when you do. So come back next week and join us as we continue in this wonderful month of March, this Women's History Month. But next week is going to be even more exciting because we have had some heavy conversations these past 2 weeks. So it's time for us to have a little fun up in the place, Dawn B style. So it's going to be the versus, the ladies' room versus the men's lounge. And our topic is checkmate. That's right. If you know checkers and chess, you already know what happens in checkmate. We're going to have the ladies against the men. We're going to have some questions for them. and we are going to go up against one another with the opposing sides to find out which side can get the most points as we are talking about Women's History this month. We're gonna talk about relationships, we're gonna talk about how we showing up, we're gonna talk about truth, we're just gonna talk about it all. Why men like this, why women like that. Let's find a happy medium. And then for the last Thursday of this month, we are going to have our topic called Ladies Who Lead. Women, tune in because we're gonna have some amazing women who are on top of their game. Coach Nikki don't know it yet, but I'm pretty sure she's gonna be back right up in here because she needs to come and share some more, teaching us ladies how to lead with balance, how we can be all that we need to be in every aspect of our lives. You might need some assistance, and Coach Nikki can slip it in right there. She does it so sweet and so smooth amongst some other women who are gonna be just as amazing and awesome. So please come back and join us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Bravo with Sheila Network. Ladies, hold on to your worth. Know that your attributes, your character, your integrity, your passion, your gifts, your intelligence, your spirit, your love, and your success all add to the value that you are. And don't hold any part of you back. This year is all or nothing, and nothing is not an option. So go be great and be all of that. Why? Because we do not depreciate, honey. We only get better. So y'all have a great night. Love you all. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We'll see you next week. And we are about to be out for the night. Hang with me, panel, for 2 seconds.
I'ma make the rest of my life live. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'm gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Yeah, I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'ma make the rest of my life live. I'm gonna make the rest of my life the best of my life. Congratulations on the celebration.